Okay, can I have your attention, please? I don't have a gavel, but yeah, no, please. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District regular board meeting. It's Thursday, September 28th at 6:04 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Board Clerk, would you do a roll call, please?
Yes.
Oh.
Director Sailors,
Are you over there?
Director Weber. I can't hear. Director Sheets.
Present.
Director Gould is absent.
He's
Director
on
Wood.
his way.
Here.
Director Jones. Here. Director Rice is absent. Director Costa is absent. President Clark.
Here.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to pledge to our flag.
Yes.
Please stand and Director Sheets, will you please lead us? All right. Next, we get into a Metro Cable announcement. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District will be cablecast on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T UVerse cable systems. This meeting is also webcast at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays at 6 p.m. on Monday, October 2nd, 2023, and 2 p.m. on Wednesday, October 4th, on Channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/MetroCable14. Next, we get to the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers, Madam Clerk?
We do. We have a speaker card from Roger Mitchell.
Okay, excuse me.
Board of Directors, Chief, staff, and public. I'm here tonight to remind you of our annual fundraising dinner for the restoration of Rio Linda's second fire engine. I know the majority of the board has already purchased tickets, and I thank you very much for that. I know that the chief will be in good company at that meeting because I think he's our world-class speaker at that dinner. But I would like to tell you something about this station just momentarily. The first two engines that sat in this engine room, when the walls were about 3 high and a gravel floor, that's all that was here. Rio Linda's first fire truck sat in here, and one of the other old Rio Linda vehicles sat in here. And there were many times they did that throughout the building of this. And just before it was turned over to the fire district, those two engines spent all night here with the permission of the contractor as well as the fire district. So the first two engines to spend overnight here came from this community. So I just thought you might like to know that.
Oh, great.
And the last time we had a meeting here, I was lucky enough to be sitting on this board. And afterwards, we all had dinner at the old fire station. Now, I don't think that's going to happen tonight, but in the future, I think we can certainly make plans to do that. So, be happy to answer any questions you might have about the annual fundraising dinner or any other subject that I've talked about.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Mitchell? No? Hearing none? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Any other speakers?
President Clark, just a brief pause. We're going to close the garage door. It's going to be loud here for just 1 second. Go ahead.
I can't
Okay.
hear him.
All right, much better. Thank you. Next on the agenda, if we have no others, I thought okay, we had, apparently they only had one speaker.
I believe referring to is under the item. Do we have any speakers on Zoom?
Attendees, if anybody would like to present anything to the board at this time, please raise your hand and I'll give the option to speak. No response.
Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is consent items. Board directors, you've had a chance to look over the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Okay, Director Jones, motion, Director Wood, second. Please call the roll.
Yes. Director Sailors? Director Weber? Director Sheets?
Aye.
Director Wood? Aye. Director Jones?
Aye.
President Clark?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, we go to presentation items. We have one presentation item. We don't have any action items tonight. And this will be Battalion 5 water tender deployment. That would be Chief, our Chief Development Officer, Jeff Fry, and Assistant Chief Joe Fiorica, AC Fiorica. Please, for your presentation.
Thank you, President Clark. We're here tonight at a citizen's request. Mr. Glover has had a number of contacts with the district, expressing some concerns about the placement of the water tender in service in Battalion 5. We've had a couple of conversations, at which point in time Mr. Glover requested that we contact Director Sailors and bring the item to the board. So this is a little bit unorthodox, but we decided to use a presentation item to encourage some discussion for Mr. Glover to voice his concerns to the board. And if needed, we could have some dialogue after he gives his presentation. So at this point in time, I would like to turn the floor over to Mr. Glover.
Good evening. Thank you for all coming to our town. It's been a while since you've been here, and we appreciate it. My comments tonight are about the water tender. It's sitting right out there. For 60 years, that thing's been manned by volunteers of this area. That seems to be an era of gone. They're difficult to come by. And at this time, I'd like to say something about those gentlemen, Terry Barnes, Dennis Berry, and a few others that have made that vehicle go and respond to all incidents in this area. It's a critical piece of equipment in this area. About 1,300 residents depend on that for backup water for an engine. And for all you here that are firefighter oriented, once you're out of water, roll them up and go home. So we're having a problem it being manned all the time because of lack of volunteers. Dennis seems to be the only one around here, and Mark Sherbert, that are being able to take that piece of equipment to where it goes. It's very specialized. It weighs 52,500 pounds, and it's top heavy. Only the best drivers should be behind the wheel. And I've been talking to people in town here and in the outright areas, such as Riego, which seems to be heavily forgotten by this fire department. They are where your ERAF money comes from. I would suggest that we don't leave them hanging out there. So what we would propose, excuse me, would be to put that piece of equipment in this station and man it permanently with an engineer on all shifts. And we did the math. It's about $500,000. Not chump change, but it would well be worth it. As we've seen on the news in California in the last 10 years, how many towns have been burned out? Just recently, Maui. There's been some complacency about government agencies to step up and do what they need to do to ensure their citizens' protection. So I only had one other comment, and that was based on ambulance here. I know that's a real difficult situation, but we've clocked that ambulance out of this district 70% of its time. That seems to be unacceptable. I mean, know where it's going. It's going down here to the city of Sacramento, who's famous for 50 years of browning out stations and equipment on borderlines with other fire districts. They make us do their work. Essentially, I think they're stealing from us. So what I'd like to see is, I understand that Rancho Marietta just got a dedicated ambulance, that we get the same thing. In most cases, we're just about as far away from a major trauma center as they are. And that ends my comments for this evening. If you have any questions, I'll be here after the event, and ask me what you need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Glover. Is it Glover?
So with that,
Okay.
Board, I did hear one new piece in a request to evaluate the cost for a full-time engineer.
Okay.
That is new to me, so what I would like to do is go back and gather some information and cost that out,
Okay.
and along with the other items I heard, and bring that back to the board at a future date, if that's okay with the board.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I'm sure you and the chief, and
Yes.
we'll get that taken care of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We don't have any other questions, do we? Director Sailors, did you have any concerns? Okay. Oh, Director Jones? Okay.
Okay, under the presentation
Yeah,
item.
absolutely.
Yeah, how many gallons does the water tender carry? Can't hear. 2,800? And where is it where is it parked right now?
Fire Station 112?
At 112? Is it subject to dispatch protocol?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Having no further questions, Director Gould is ready to take his seat. I'll wait till he sits in. How you doing, Director? Welcome. See you. All right. We are right now on, we just finished presentation items, so we're going on reports. President's report, I don't have a report. We're moving on next to the Fire Chief's report. Chief House.
Good evening, President Clark, directors, colleagues, members of the public. It's with much sadness that I inform you of the passing of retired Captain James Stewart. Captain Stewart began his fire service career with Arcade Fire Department in the 1960s, and retired from American River Fire Protection District in 1995. Services for Captain Stewart will be held on Friday, October 27th at the Holy Trinity Parish, located at 3111 Country Club Drive in El Dorado Hills at 11 a.m. I also regret to inform you of retired Chief Ronnie J. Coleman, State Fire Marshal, passed away peacefully on September 19th, 2023 at Mercy General Hospital in Sacramento. Chief Coleman was a 50-plus year fire service veteran. He authored more than 19 books and was influential with the industry as an advisor, leader, and mentor. A memorial tribute is tomorrow on the 29th from 10 to 3, and on Saturday, the 30th, from 10 to 3 at Huberger Funeral Chapel at 9101 Elk Grove Boulevard. I would ask we take a brief moment of silence.
Absolutely. We can do that after
Okay.
the meeting, the
Sounds
end of the
good.
meeting. Yeah, closing of the meetings.
All right, and some positive news. Congratulations to the following members for being selected to join the USAR California Task Force team, effective September 20th. Engineer Jason Baldwin, firefighter Matthew Dargan, Captain Brendan Hogan, firefighter Alexander Pibble, and firefighter Christopher Upchurch. Today, we had a great station dedication at Station 42 for 2 line-of-duty deaths. The district was honored to hold a station dedication at Station 42 for Captain Miguel Mike Arthur Guzman and Engineer Kyle Edward Rutherford. Plaques were installed at the station for both members and will serve as a constant memorial to honor the ultimate sacrifice for the dedication of duty and loyalty to the citizens they serve. The significance of the contributions made by Mike and Kyle cannot be minimized. And while they were dearly missed, their legacy lives on in spirit and those who continue to serve. It was really great to see about 100 people show up to that line of duty dedication today, and about 50 retirees, to include 2 previous Metro Fire Chiefs, Chief Bill Sponable and Don Meddy. And it was also Director Weber and sailors attended also. It was a very well treated. The family was blessed, honored, and said that Metro Fire has really set the bar extremely high in that area. So great job by all of our members that contributed to that service. I'd like to introduce a fairly new battalion chief, B5C, which is Battalion Chief Joe Aldridge, to introduce himself to you. Also tell him a little bit about himself, and he's going to introduce Truck 26 with an experience to share with you all this evening.
All right.
Good evening,
Welcome,
President
sir.
Clark, directors, Fire Chief Adam House, Metro Fire personnel, and members of the public. Like Chief said, my name is Joe Aldrich, recently promoted Battalion Chief. I'm at Battalion 5 on C Shift, just up the road here at McClellan, as you know. I started with Metro Fire in August of 2002 as a paramedic intern. Graduated the Fire Academy in January of 2004, promoted engineer in 2009, captain in 2013, and I've been a battalion chief since June 30th. So I talk about my experience as a battalion chief in months, and when you're talking about months versus years, I think you'd agree that I have a lot to learn still. So on my 5th shift, I got my first fire, structure fire, and it was 2 houses involved, so I wasn't going to start off easy. Fire started between the 2 houses, spread to both. There was obvious fire in the 2nd story and in the attic of both fires. And I found out quickly that I had very well-trained crews. We work with great equipment and apparatus, and they took care of business, cleared the houses of occupants, rescued some animals, and they really just let me know that I was working with some quality people. Now, of course, there's always improvements to be made at any incident, so we looked at it afterwards in an AAR. So I would like to introduce the crew that was, actually Captain Inserti was on the engine that day as the first-in engine captain. He's working on Truck 26 today, so, but 3 of the gentlemen back here were on that call, so I'd like to call them up with me. So I have Captain Jeff Inserti, Engineer John Hull, Firefighter Aaron Howdigi, and Firefighter Nick Warner.
All right.
And Captain Inserti is going to give you a little bit of his perspective as a first-in engine captain.
Come up here so we can all see you. Don't be shy.
As a first-in engine captain, looking at 2 houses on fire and thinking, there's about 10 things I'd like to do right now, and I have 3 people and a guy in a SUV sitting across the street that's not going to do anything other than talk on the radio. So.
Good evening, Board of Directors, Chief House, and the rest of support and administrative staff. Thanks for having us. Don't let him kid you. He did a great job sitting across the street. It was comforting knowing he was there. He called a second alarm right out of the gate because it was one of those nice summer days here, nice and cool, probably 103, 104 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And he saw the amount of work ahead of us, so he got ahead of it, called the second alarm, which went right over my head because I'm looking at 2 houses on fire as the first arriving company officer, and there's a lot of things I'm thinking about, and I'm thinking, okay, there's a lot of work to be done, and not enough people here right now, so what can I do? What can my crew do? So basically we just got off the rig, we went to work, Chief took command. We had the truck company, I was on the engine that day, we had Truck 26 right behind us, and if you rewind just a few years back, we didn't have an engine company at Station 26, as you guys are probably aware. So very nice that we have that staffing and that for that day, because it was very beneficial to have that water. So we pulled lines, went in, put the fire out, We came out, by the time we came out, replaced our bottles, did some more work. We had support crews coming in to relieve us because we were exhausted. It was super hot. So it was just nice to know that Chief had our back. I had, as much as I had a large amount of work ahead of me, and I'm looking at this picture, like, shoot, what do I do? I know that I have well-trained professional firefighters coming in behind me. So as daunting as the task can look, it's always nice to know that we have a great support team that's coming in behind us, and that's due to our training. It's due to the support from our administration, from the board of directors. So all of that stuff plays into this. It's not just the firefighters on the ground, it's the whole picture, it's the Metro Fire family. So having that and knowing that, it makes the job a lot easier. I just take a deep breath and say, okay, let's go to work. We got help on the way, and things are going to get better. For his first fire as a battalion chief, he passed. So we're allowing him to stay. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your service. All right. That is nice. Next we have operations.
I don't think your chief's done.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Yeah.
A little more. Thanks, fellas.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Chief is not finished. Sorry.
Thank you, fellas. And just another example of the great men and women
Yes,
here we have at Metro Fire. So thank you, fellas, for sharing your story. Recruitment. The district is accepting applications external for the position of office technician with the final filing date of October 13th by 4 p.m. Some miscellaneous meetings and such. My meetings with the membership, the 45-day goal to see every member in the organization is very successful. I have one makeup meeting and one meeting with the reserves on this weekend, and I'll have that concluded. The feedback is overwhelming and very positive, and every member from the first question I asked has said they really love working for this great organization. And so I'll be providing the feedback from those meetings with you in a future date, and also with the entire membership of things that we're doing extremely well, along with areas that we can improve on. We had a meeting with labor management on the 20th. It was very productive. It was about an 8-hour meeting. We covered numerous topics and resolved several items, provided great feedback and direction for other items. Great conversation and collaboration with labor management is very successful. The Capitol Air Show, being present throughout the entire weekend at the Capitol Air Show was an honor for me. It reflected back in the early 1985 era of attending that air show. The air show provided endless fun and activities for all of us. Metro Fire had a robust representation, and once again, the feedback I received everywhere I went was very appreciative, and the amount of professionalism that Metro Fire showed to support the air show, to include Mayor Budge, who had an incident there, and Metro Fire took care of her needs also. Mm-hmm. So great turnout from the air show, very successful event, and Metro Fire did a great job once again. So thank you all that participated in that. I continue to meet with our external stakeholders, participated in several meetings, and those have been well received, and efforts to collaborate is very positive. I've met with Fire Chief Maurice Johnson for El Dorado Hills Fire Department, the entire NELO company, Fire Chief Brian Marshall with Cal OES, and the EMS Medical Director, Gregory Can, who is our new medical director that shows very positive proactive support for Sacramento County that he's bringing up from San Joaquin County. These meetings continue to go extremely well, and we all share an interest to being collaborative partners and discussing matters of mutual interest in the future. I also, on a side note, had the opportunity to meet with Sheriff Cooper, and he's very eager with the relationship and where we go with combating the homeless and other issues in Sacramento County, and working very well together in those avenues. And that's the end of my report, unless you have any questions. Thank you.
Do we have any questions? Yeah, thank you, Chief. It's a pleasure. It's just great to see that we're rebuilding a lot of relationships that we maybe lost somewhere along the way, and I'm very impressed with that. And that's just great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all those stakeholders are extremely excited and happy to
bet.
where we can take this collaborative effort. So,
Yep, we all need each other.
absolutely.
All right, thank you, Chief. Next, we have operations report. Chief Mitchell.
Thank you, President Clark. Good evening, directors, Chief House, colleagues, and members of the public. Thank you all for being here. First off, thanks to Station 111 and their crew for letting us be in their house tonight and get out in the community and have this opportunity. Appreciate that. So thank you guys. And also to Chief Aldrich and the crew on Truck 26, thank you. I will say we told them earlier that they were going to have to do a speech tonight, and we were messing with them. So yes, I was in on it. They didn't have to do that. But I will say Chief Aldrich is doing a great job, because on my way over here I was listening to a grass fire. He's doing so well. He puts them out before we get there. They were unable to find it. So nice job, Chief. Keep it up out here, B5C. All right. A little bit more information on the Capitol Air Show. I'm happy to report that there was record attendance of over 105,000 folks out there over the 2 days, so that's a really positive sign. I know we worked really closely with their leadership on that board, with Darcy and Angela, and looking forward to growing that relationship even more in the future. So a little bit about what it takes to provide the public safety for the air show. Each day, a team of 30 folks from Metro Fire, and in addition to 11 folks from Sacramento County airports, and over 130 from the Sacramento Sheriff's Department were out there providing the public safety for that event. For Metro Fire Suppression, we had 8 members. From Metro MMP and EMS, we had 7 members. From Metro CERT, we had 20 members, and that's a total of 363 total volunteer hours from our CERT folks, who continue to just do a great job out there. From our logistics division, we had 3 of their members out there. They always do a phenomenal job. Thank them for their support. And then in the incident command post, we had 8 Sacramento Sheriff representatives and 1 of our dispatchers from the comm center running dispatch for the air show. So really, really robust. And in addition, we talk about recruitment. Captain Tim White had a comprehensive recruitment for firefighters, MMPs, reserve firefighters, and CERT, supported by 4 additional suppression members, 3 of our reserve firefighters, and quite a few of our explorers from the Del Campo High School program, which was awesome to see. They were out there engaged with everybody, helping people try on turnouts, showing them the engine, and really smiling and just happy to be there. And it was great to shake their hand and thank them. Really, we talk about recruitment and where that's going to come from. That's the wave of the future right there. So it was awesome to see those folks out there. Another opportunity we had recently with the Sacramento Sheriff's Department was a critical incident management training. Actually, Chief Farica helped spearhead that. I don't know where you went. Wherever you are. There you are, sorry, kind of in the sun. Reached out and just recognized that on a lot of critical incidents, we work very, very closely with our law enforcement partners, and the need to be collaborative on those efforts prior to the incident. Chief Farica reached out to their captains over there and set up a training that we had most all of our chief officers go through and work with them on how they manage an incident. They hosted it over at their headquarters. The class gave us some good insight as to how they run their incidents, how they manage it, and a little bit different than we do, but how best we can integrate with them when we come into their incident management system on things that we do all the time together. I'm happy to say that our battalion chief, Sean Daly, was one of the instructors for that. So we put him up there. He speaks both languages very well. They know him well from our TEMS program. And he was able to present information from our side, from the fire side, back to the law enforcement folks so they could understand how we run our incidents as well. So that's a really, really positive thing. It's a great opportunity to strengthen our already solid relationship with the Sheriff's Department, which really is second to none. You look across the country, and we really have a unique opportunity here in our region with how closely we work and how well we work with our law enforcement partners, whether it be Sacramento Sheriff, Citrus Heights PD, Rancho PD, and others. So, and then the last one, we talk about, the fantastic job that our crews do out there every single day, whether it be fire incidents, medical incidents, public assistance, or any emergency that somebody calls 911 for. What I'd like to do, I know Chief Perryman is here. Where are you at, Scott? Come on up. So you're very well aware of our mobile integrated health program, and you've seen this smiling face before, and he'll do a great job explaining exactly what they had and how they dealt with it. But in alignment with exceeding expectations that Metro Fire comes to the plate and does every single day, this was one of those unique incidents that our mobile integrated health team identified a person in the Antelope area, really a couple. One of them was wheelchair bound, who was in an apartment on the upper floors and unable to get out of their apartment for over a year, one of them. And so integrating with that person, knowing they were using the resources from 911, our mobile integrated health folks worked with the apartment management and found them a bottom floor apartment. However, there was no resources available to help those individuals move from the 3rd floor down to the 1st floor. That's where Chief Perryman and a number of others stepped in and really went above and beyond that call for service and helped those folks move out of their 3rd floor apartment down to the 1st floor apartment. So he won't say it because he's very humble, but I definitely wanted to say how much we appreciate Chief Perryman's efforts as well as those others that were with him that day to make that happen. So I'll let Scott, why don't you come on up and talk a little bit about what you did.
That's a great summary. I know it's a little hard to hear in here, but I'll do my best. We're thinking of stories, and we're in your district, so we kind of wanted to share this story. It's a tragic story if you realize that this individual, she's elderly, and her elderly son, 2nd floor. There's no elevator. The only way to get up and down was by calling 911 for us to take her up and down the stairs. Every organization that you can think of was involved. APS, CPS, I don't know why CPS was involved, but they were involved too. All these organizations were involved. You can imagine that they've been there for 5 years and the amount of resources that it took. To put it in perspective, in the last 2 months, they called 22 times for lift assists up and down the stairs because they had no other resources. It breaks my heart to realize that the one individual had not been outside of his 500 square foot apartment for over a year. Wow. It was a blessing when our crews came in there and were able to move him into that bottom stairs apartment and to see the joy on their faces. It's a Chief Aldrich night. Chief Aldrich was one of those that was there on his off-duty day to go make that happen. So I wanted to point him out here tonight. There's also Captain Jeremy Crawford, nurse practitioner Lindsay Parker, and then, Lindsay Zerhusen, and then Cody Parker. So a special thanks to them. And then you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from her. This is what she said.
All right, here's what's fun is I've got you recorded, and you can say whatever you want, and they'll hear you.
Oh, that's amazing. This is Virginia Wilson, and I want to thank the fire department for moving me and my son David O'Brien on September 15th, the Friday. I will never be able to thank you guys enough, and the lady too, for coming and moving us from a 2nd floor apartment into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment on the ground floor, so I never have to have the fire department come and take me into my wheelchair down the stairs and bring me back up the stairs when I come back from the doctor's office. It's just amazing, and this apartment is so beautiful. I can't thank them enough. So please, please tell all the boys and the girl, thank you, thank you, thank you, from the bottom of my heart. I wanted to go on the radio and say thank you, but I didn't quite know how to do that. But thank you so much. It's just amazing, and I love this apartment. David and I are so grateful to you all, and thank you so much.
It's our pleasure.
We recently went to Cal Chiefs in the EMS section. We were able to hear about some of the challenges some of the EMS chiefs face in the state. And it was grateful to look around the room and say, I'm so glad we're here at Metro Fire because I don't have that problem, or I don't have that problem. We have some great people. I really quickly wanted to share a story about a consent item that you voted on tonight. There's opioid settlement money. It is extremely cumbersome to go through the process of what is needed to do it. We went through the process and realized that there needed to be a consent item due by tonight, or else we would not be able to apply for it. We had 45 minutes to get it done once we realized it needed to be done. I want to give a special thanks to Aaron, a special thanks to Marnie, of course, to Chief Wagaman in the back, and then of course to Chief House, that we were able to make everything happen within a 45-minute window. So again, it just goes to strengthen the story of the power of Metro Fire and working together.
So thanks, Chief Perryman. And again, the sense of pride that I feel, and I know that we all feel, is incredible, but this organization has got a phenomenal group of folks that works for it. You just never forget that. I don't forget it, but these types of stories, that, no one's asking for these accolades, but they sure deserve them. So Thank you all for what you do every day. I know not everybody's here, but it really is appreciated and it makes us very proud. So with that, we'll end the operations report.
Wow, definition of heroes. Do we have any questions of Chief Mitchell? Okay, thank you, Chief. Great report. Next, we have the administrative report, and that would be our Chief Financial Officer, Dave O'Toole.
Good evening, Director Clark, board members, Chief House, members of the public, and colleagues. I do have the honor of making the admin report tonight, but before I do that, I do have to tell a quick story because about 2 weeks ago, I had a small conference. I was holding a small conference in the headquarters in the boardroom, and I went into the room shortly before it started, and all the chairs and tables were not in the arrangement I needed, and I had minutes to go. So I'm frantically moving the chairs and tables, and who would walk by and see me in my state? But none of Chief Perryman, professional mover, comes in and saves the day. So again,
he's everywhere.
So with that, I have reports for public affairs, human resources, economic development, and finance. Beginning with public affairs. We had, as Chief House had mentioned, we had the station dedication for Captain Guzman and Engineer Rutherford at Station 42 this morning. Thank you to the logistics, the Honor Guard, Captain Nunez, Chaplain Snyder, Local 522, and everyone that helped make it a success. The Cancer Awareness Engine will be arriving on October 1 and traveling through all 5 battalions as a frontline engine to bring awareness and early detection reminders to our community. Thank you to our sponsors, which include the Sacramento Kings, the cities of Rancho Cordova and Citrus Heights, and our Firefighters Association and Local 522. There will be a promotion ceremony scheduled for October 3rd, Tuesday, at headquarters starting at 5:30. 22 people will be recognized and promoted that evening. The California Firefighters Memorial is happening on Saturday, October 14. Attendees will stage at 3 p.m. at the Sheraton Hotel downtown. This year we'll be adding Captain Jeffrey Vitti and Engineer Kyle Rutherford to the wall. Public Affairs asks that everyone come out and show support. We plan to have a significant Metro Fire presence. A transfer of command ceremony for Fire Chief House is scheduled at the Cordova High School for Performing Arts Studio on October 24 at 5:30 p.m. We hope to have a huge turnout to support Fire Chief House and Metro Fire as we honor the transition. Moving to human resources. HR is still meeting weekly with a new third-party administrator, the transition team for the workers' compensation contract. Progress is going as projected, and the go-live date is November 1. An update on candidates and backgrounds. We have 5 paramedics earned backgrounds for the October 9, 2023 MMP Academy. We have 12 external and 8 internal firefighter paramedics that are in backgrounds for the January 16, 2024 Academy. And HR also has 1 fire mechanic and 1 MIH provider in backgrounds. In terms of recruitments, the paramedic recruitment closes tomorrow, September 29. Interviews are pre-scheduled for October 5, October 12, and October 19. We have a data analyst that closes on October 13. Additionally, there are several policies are expected to reach the policy committee in the next couple of months. They include the drug and alcohol policy, the EEO policy, the harassment policy, the workplace violence policy, non-discrimination policy, non-retaliation policy, sick leave policy, FMLA policy, time card policy, and travel and conference policy. So several, going to be a busy docket there. Next, moving on to economic development. Metro Fire was asked by the California Special Districts Association to participate in their annual Special Districts Tour, which occurred on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. The tour consisted of visits to 6 special districts throughout the Bay Area. The 27-member delegation included staffers from the California Legislature, the Legislative Analyst's Office, the Senate Committee on Government and Finance, and special district associations. Metro Fire was the only special district included, and traveling with a delegation, which is considered an honor for our district and fantastic opportunity for us to continue realizing the board objective of increased external engagement. Kyle McDonald is representing us on the tour, and he's been asked to address the entire delegation and field questions about special districts from the participants. Follow-up touch-ins will be completed later this week, and the tour has allowed Metro Fire to enhance our presence not just among our special district partners, but also with the state legislature, policy professionals, and solidifying our status as a go-to resource within the fire service. Finally, finance, a few announcements. After wrapping up the budget and CIP plan, finance has submitted nominations for itself for 2 budget awards, 1 state and 1 national, and has submitted the CIP for the same state award that we received last year. We should know about those in spring of 2024. Our annual audit is progressing well with our new third-party auditor, Badawi and Associates. Let's see, board members should soon receive a questionnaire from Badawi and Associates on risk. Badawi and Associates is our new auditor, and they want to survey the board members to see if you have any issues about risk within the department that would allow them to focus on certain areas in their audit. The audit will be completed in December. Let's see, finance is working on changes to the meal and refreshment policy and the travel and conference policy. As we mentioned, those are coming up. Expect those to reach policy committee in November. And last but not least, there was a recent addition to the finance family, accounting specialist Milton Mora and his wife Yvette welcomed their second son, Andres Gabriel Mora Gomez, on September 7th, and baby and family are doing well. That concludes my report.
All right. Do we have any questions of our CFO? Thank you, Mr. O'Toole.
Thank you.
Great report. Finally, well, not finally, but next we have a support services report by Chief Wagaman.
Thank you and good evening, President Clark, Board of Directors, Chief House, the many crews here, as well as the community members from Rio Linda and Alberta. Before I get started, I have to reflect how ironic that we have a presentation on the water tender this evening. And I have to reflect back on where I started, and this is my backyard. This is where it all started for me, 1997, assigned to that very water tender out there. It was 10 years old at the time. It's now 36 years old, and it's wonderful to see that unit still in service, running calls. I have no doubt that I put 5,000 of the 41,000 miles that are on it currently, and also the reserve program. The reserve program has been up and operating for years, and I'm ecstatic that it's still operating today. I understand that we have staffing challenges, so to our community folks, we are always hiring for our reserve firefighters. So if you have an interest, whether it is for just a few years or you want to make a career out of it, like some of our reserves, 40+ years, please put an application in. We're always interested in filling these positions with good community members who understand the community and understand the importance of firefighting. So with that, I will move on to a short support report this evening. Quick update on our facilities front. Both kitchens, Station 101 and 105, will be completed next week. They will be finalized, at which point I will take some photographs and I will ensure that each and every one of you see the finished product. And if you're in the area, please stop by, take a look. Fantastic job by 2 of our local contractors.
For sure.
Station 42, beautification. In preparation for the station dedication, my hat goes off to the 3 crews, all 3 shifts that worked tirelessly to beautify that station, as well as our facilities team. For those of you that were there today, you could see the work that they did. The station looks amazing. I have no doubt that Engineer Rutherford and Captain Guzman would be very proud at how that station looks today. With the rain on the approach, the facilities division is going to work very quickly to replace 5 roofs. Station 103, Station 108, Station 29, Station 114, and Hurley. Obviously, we'll be contracting those services out, but it does take a toll on our facilities team to make sure that this work gets done correctly and it gets done right the first time, and it exceeds our expectations. So I hope to report back in maybe a future meeting here that all those roofs are tied in, they're locked tight, and they're ready for the winter to hit us. Along the winter front is our backup generators. So over the next few weeks, we will be sending our team out, as well as some of our contractors, to look at all of our backup emergency generators at all of our stations. I have no doubt that we will have a couple storms hit us this year that will knock out power, and we want the community to know that Metro Fire is ready to answer the call with or without power. We hope it is with power. In all of our stations, whether it is a fixed generator or a portable generator, they all have the ability to generate emergency power for the essential functions, garage doors, lights, or station alerting equipment, radios, and things like that. Lastly, on the fleet front, 2 ambulances, 2 of the 5 new ambulances will be going into service very soon. So congratulations to Rancho Cordova. Medic 61 will be getting a new ambulance, as well as North Highlands Medic 41. And before you leave here this evening, this is the exact ambulance. Medic 111 got a brand new one. Take a look at it. It's a beauty. We have 6 of those. Again, the last 2 are going to be going into service hopefully within the next week or so. That concludes my report, unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions? I just have a comment. I'm looking forward to visiting those stations and see the work that was done. Yeah, I even have pictures of the the damage, so it'd be interesting to see.
I too. It's been a very lengthy project, as you all know, and to see it coming to a close and the station kitchens look so much better than before. We hate for things like that to happen, but it's done right, and I know the crews appreciate that as much as they have been waiting very, very patiently to get their kitchens back. Rest assured, you will have photographs as soon as the project is done.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Hearing no questions. Next, we have Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District Firefighters Local 522 report. And I don't want to mess this up. It'll be Peter Botava?
Nope. He's missing too, so. he unfortunately had a family emergency he had to take care of. So Mike Gildone, Truck 106
Mike.
C shift, standing in tonight for my fun public speaking engagement. Good evening, board, Chief House, everybody else in attendance.
Mike, I apologize.
That's
I know
okay.
who you are.
That's all right. I know Pete and I look really similar.
I look at you, right?
But that's okay.
Okay.
It's been a very busy couple weeks since the last board meeting for us. As Chief House alluded to, we had a very long labor management meeting last Wednesday that lasted about 8 hours, but it was really good. And I feel like coming out of that room, both sides of the table were able to speak to a lot of important items, and we're able to, with our new leadership going forward, it just feels like the room is more collaborative, and I appreciate that. We very much appreciate that. The following day, we had CPF District 3 and 4. Battalion Chief Cole was there representing us with a lot of local labor leaders, talking about CJAC paramedic program and other things that are going on within the state and our region. This last Tuesday, we got to sit down, a group of us, to have a discussion about the squad program that we've been piloting here in the area. Chief Mitchell was there, Chief Farika, Chief Simmons, and most of the members that work on the squad and in Station 24 were there. As we transition out of the pilot program to a fully fledged, like this is kind of what we're doing, how we're doing business, it was a great discussion on how are we sending that out, how do we deploy it, why do we deploy it the way we do, how it's working out in the community, and as we expand that program and add more squads into the system, how it can be more effective. And I think everybody walking out of that room felt like it was a very productive meeting, and hopefully going forward we're going to see a lot of good change coming out of that. Yesterday we had e-board. Again, that's another long day of a lot of discussion of what's going on around the area, but I'll echo what everybody else has talked about with the firefighter memorial coming up. Was probably the most important thing coming out of there, October 14th, with Engineer Rutherford and Captain Vitti going on the wall. We hope to see a lot of people there. And then with that concludes my report, unless you guys have any questions.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Gildone?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'll make sure Pete's here next time.
Next time I'll look before I read the name. So I know who you are. Okay. Next we go on to committee and delegate reports. The executive committee, next meeting is to be determined. Looking at Communications Center, JPA, Assistant Chief Chris Green.
Thank you, President Clark. Good evening, directors, Chief House, everybody here, and in Zoom land as well. Chris Green, Assistant Chief in Operations, and your board member for the Comm Center JPA. We met on September 26th. And took action on 2 items. The first was approving the contract and implementation of a software program that's designed to reduce dispatcher workload and redundant radio traffic, which should see implementation by the end of this calendar year. The second was approving the installation of an 8-foot steel fence around the comm center and the neighboring building to provide security. for all of our dispatchers' vehicles and enhance the security for them coming in and out of the center. So that was a long project coming. Good to see that. Other than that, the Comm Center JPA board will meet next on October 10th back at headquarters, hopefully in your boardroom that's enhanced. Otherwise, I have nothing else to report. Let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions? Hearing none, thank you, Chief. All right, Finance and Audit Committee, Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Finance and Audit Committee meeting for today was canceled. We will next meet on October 26th at 5 o'clock at the headquarters conference room in Mather.
All right.
End of report.
Thank you, Director. Next, we have our Policy Committee. The Director Costa is not here, but the next meeting is October 12th, 2023. Finally, we get to board member questions and comments. Would you kick it off, please, Director Jones?
Thank you, President Clark. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to our hosts here at Station 111. Thank you very much for opening the doors, the gates, and everything else to help us be out in the community. Let's pause for a second. All right. Well, we'll talk over the sirens. I would like to thank Citizen Glover for his comments and input. It's always a good discussion to talk about resources. I would like to thank Chief B.C. Perryman and his MIH group, as well as all the volunteers that step up when folks need them. And I have a hunch, I know, that happens almost every day in our whole region with the fire service. So a big acknowledgement to each and every person who steps up, oftentimes multiple times a day, to help each other. That's huge. That's huge. Oh, need my glasses, sorry. Okay, and then lastly, I'd like to say posthumously here, thank you to Jim Stewart. I first came on the Metro Fire Board, and Director Gould will remember that Jim Stewart was a director with Metro Fire when I first came on. His guidance, his knowledge, and his thoughtfulness and kindness, I want to acknowledge and articulate my thanks to him and his family with all the condolences possible. Mr. President?
Thank you, Director. Director Sailors, please.
Let me see if this is working. Yes, thank you, President Clark. I would like to first off start off with thanking Tim White and Dennis and Mark Siebert, our two reserves, who have always come out diligently every time I have done anything in this community. 2 Saturdays ago, they came out for our country fair right here in Rio Linda, and Tim White brought out the Explorers, and we had a great showing for Metro Fire. They recruited for the reserves. It was a wonderful, wonderful showing for Metro Fire. They had several rigs there. The Explorers were letting the children put on turnouts and asking them to try to drag the dummy. And I'm sure many of those kids are going to grow up and want to be firefighters. It was just excellent. Another wonderful Metro Fire exhibition. And we couldn't do it without Dennis and Mark, our most long-lasting reserves. But we need more reserves. And without those two guys coming out and helping with the recruiting, we wouldn't be getting more. So I just want to have a huge thank you to those two guys for always coming out. And they all just left out on a grass fire right here in our district. And thank you all for having us here in my district tonight, Station 111. Thank you, Station 111, for putting up with us. Thank you. That's all for tonight.
Thank you, Director. Director Weber.
I would like to comment, but I'm picking up about every third word that is being said in here tonight. So other than that, thank everyone for your reports, the portions I did catch, but thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you, Director. Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of things. I also want to thank the crews here at 111 for their hospitality, for opening their doors to us. I want to thank Marnie and Art and everyone else that worked with them to make this happen. It's a lot of work for staff. A lot goes on behind the scenes to get us out here, but it was wonderful to be at 68 earlier this year and here tonight. So thank you to everyone who made that happen. And hopefully we'll have a couple more next year as well. Chief Aldrich and the crews of Engine 26, it's great to see you here. Thank you for your work. And Chief, thanks for making sure they get up here and get recognized. I've said this for years, there's nothing better sitting up here than to see and hear the stories of what our men and women do every day. I know they don't like having the attention on them or the spotlight on them, but they deserve it. And so it's great to see them here. Want to thank Bike Dog over in West Sac. They held a fundraiser for the Burn Institute on Saturday. Volunteered over there. It was a great turnout. Actually a lot of old Sac City retirees were there. It was wonderful to see that. Lastly, on the Burn Institute, we do have the 50th anniversary of that organization this year, and they're having a celebration on October 20th, so the day before Rogers, 111, the old 111 dinner, but it'll be Friday, October 20th at the Elks Tower. Marnie's got contact information. You can get it from ffburn.org and get your tickets there. So hopefully we'll see plenty of Metro representation there on behalf of the Burn Institute. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director. Director Sheets.
Thank you. Just wanted to thank the Station 111 and the crews for your hospitality, and then all the behind the scenes. I know this takes a lot of work. This is really one of my favorite things to do, is do a board meeting at a station. So big thank you to that. Also, Chief Aldridge, the crews of 26, unbelievable work. It doesn't surprise me. Same with Perryman and the rest of the crew. Please extend our gratitude. It's unbelievable to be part of an organization where every day you hear things like this, and it just makes you just so much more thankful to be part of an organization like this. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Director Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If Bob's getting 1 out of every 3, I'm getting half of that. So thank you. I apologize for being a little late. I actually got to go to Rancho Cordova and spent some time there until it was told to me that the meeting was here.
Oh, no.
Thanks for looking out after me, my colleagues. Anyway, have a good evening. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Chief. I wasn't here when you were installed or exalted, and I appreciate your leadership. So thank you very much. Bob, I'm with you. We're going to have to insulate this place or something for those of us that are deaf.
Yeah, the acoustics are not too good. Thank you, Director. Don't feel too bad. I got lost over in Station 116 or something. I was almost late too, so but I found my way over here. I also want to thank the guys and gals over at Station 111 for hosting the meeting. I also want to thank Chief Green for including me in the meeting at the air show. It was fascinating to see how the crews got together with the county fire department and our guys in EMS, and to know that the public was well protected in any case. We took care of Mayor Budge right away. There's no issue there, and it was a wonderful air show. I mean, I just love those air shows anyway. I don't know. I almost want to cry sometimes. I get so overwhelmed with the aircraft and the people that we have protecting our country. Thank you. Thank the men and women of Metro Fire. You guys are amazing. I mean, I can't think of a better organization. And I also want to thank Chief House for his leadership. Thank Marnie she does such a great job. Council, I mean, I don't know. We're just so well-rounded and have so many attributes and people, professionals around this organization that I'm just overwhelmed sometimes. You know, the MIH is just, I mean, we got so many weapons that, you know, this is just an amazing organization, and I thank you all for your service. Finally, to end the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting with a moment of silence for retired Captain James Stewart and retired Chief Ronnie Coleman, for State Fire Marshal, who passed away on September 19th. All right. All right, our next meeting. Rest in peace. We're announcing, oh, you guys want to remain standing. Are you ready to go out the door? Okay. Our next regular board meeting is October 12th at 6 p.m. I declare this meeting adjourned.